As promised, I'm going to do another one on the 4 different tapes: normal, chrome, ferrochrome, and metal. This time recorded on a Pioneer deck, one of the Elite series. Get completely different results than we got with the TIAC. Take a listen. Well, since we're playing with cassette decks right now, I figured that I would haul this one out. This is one that was given to me, I don't know, a year or so ago. A buddy of mine gave it to me. The regulator was failed on it. This is a Pioneer Elite. It's a CT07D, D as in digital. And this one now is fully functional. At least it was when I fixed it. And this one here, it has a 20-bit A to D, D to A converter. What it does is it digitizes the playback signal so that it can apply digital noise reduction and then converts it back to analog. It also has a digital input so you can record direct from a CD. If you have a coaxial output, you can send it right to this deck. And what we're going to do in this video is we're going to try a couple of different types of tapes. Now, the nice thing about this deck is it's a record play on both decks. First of all, they're both auto reverse decks, and both decks will record and play. That was the strength to this. It's a 2-head deck. We're going to see how this sounds. We're going to try it on 4 different types of tapes: standard tape, type 2 tape, type 3 tape, and of course type 4. We'll just do a brief recording on each of these tapes and we'll play it back and see how it sounds. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to try a standard tape, and we're going to rewind these tapes, start each one from the beginning, and we'll make a recording off of a CD, and we'll just take a listen to see how it sounds on playback. Now, for the best, give these the best chance of success, I'm going to use Dolby C on both decks. Although, actually, you know what? Let's try it without any Dolby at all. We'll turn it off completely, and we'll see how the noise reduction works in this digital circuit. This unit's kind of unique because it has a feature called parallel record. So I've got a type 1 tape loaded in deck number 1, as you can see, and I have a type 3 tape loaded into deck number 2. I've got the tape count, or I got the level set for a peak of 0 dB, and we can try a parallel record on this by pressing this button. Both decks should go into record at the same time. There we go. Both decks recording. Let's try a parallel recording and see how the units perform. Okay, I've recorded a bit from on both decks. Let's take a listen to the standard tape, and we'll see how it sounds. That's my amp out here. Let's listen to the same thing played on deck B. This is using the ferrochrome tape. Back to their regular type 1 tape and listen to the highs. Oh yes. Listen to the difference in the sound. Okay, so that's the recording I made on here. We're going to rewind these tapes. We'll try another recording. This time I'm going to set the record level a little higher. I'm going to go to +3 on both the decks. We'll try the same thing and record the same thing. This time we'll set it to +3. I want to see the two tapes, which is going to give me the best output. I guarantee you that the Type 3 tape is going to outperform the Type 1 in every aspect. Let's set our levels up here. So I'll go into record, pause, record and pause. That way I can, oops, I want to just do record pause. Where's my pause here? Just hit record. So let's set our levels up to +3. Okay, now I've got my level set to +3. We'll set both decks up again and hit our parallel record. Record the same thing for another minute here at +3, and we'll see what comes back off of both of these decks. Take a listen to the standard Type 1 tape, again recorded to +3. We'll see what type of levels come back off this, and then we'll try the same thing on the Type 3 ferrochrome tape. And we'll try the same thing off the ferrochrome. Listen to the highs and see how the highs sound. I can tell you right now, just for my ears here, the Type 3, it's just superior. Let's try a Type 2 and a Type 4. We'll check those out. So let me just get set up for that one. So like before, I'm going to record synchronous recording, parallel recording. Type 2 tape in deck A and Type 4 tape in deck B. So I'll hit the parallel record button. And we'll see how this one performs. Same track. 3 wound now. Let's take a listen first of all to the high bias tape. Listen to the metal tape now. I'm in the unique position now that we can actually compare the same thing because I've got the same thing recorded on the other tapes. So we want to listen to the two of them. Ooh. Oh. What's going on here? What is happening to this metal tape? Oh, nothing wrong with the tape, but this deck sure isn't doing a very good job on this tape, is it? Look at the level difference between the left and the right channel. Now, when I had the Type 3 tape in this deck, we didn't have that problem. Could it be that this deck does not like metal? And it is compatible because I checked. It does have the detection switches, so it is detecting a metal tape. But on the ferrochrome tape, you have to remember, this tape was purchased in 1983 when I worked for Sony of Canada. I bought a bunch of these tapes. This is a very old tape. This is an old tape too. Yeah, I mean, this is a little newer. This is probably 84, 85, but I mean, this is also an old tape. It's got the compact cassette logo on it. But man, when I put this tape into my TAC yesterday, when I did the test on that, there was no problems with the levels on it on the TAC, but it certainly, this deck doesn't like it. Now, does it? The other side here sounds fine. On the chrome tape, let's just try this metal tape. I'll try making another recording on the metal tape on the A deck because it certainly is not sounding great. Like the levels are right up. So I'm just going to try making another recording. I won't double record this time. I'll just do it on the one deck just to see whether that metal is just this deck that doesn't like the metal tapes. So we'll start this one up. And we'll do the same thing. We'll record the same track for a couple minutes here. Okay, we've recorded the same thing on the metal tape on this side and see if our levels are any different because it certainly wasn't. Okay, so it may have just been it may have been just the way it recorded. Maybe the head wasn't in good contact or something, but it made the recording. But certainly sounding a lot better now. Here's the chrome tape. Back to the metal tape. Let's have some fun. Let's just try. Let's listen, compare the metal tape on this side to the ferrochrome tape on this side. Just a heck of, you know, for sheets and giggles. Let's see how the difference in the sound quality is. This should kick its butt, but something tells me it won't. I tell you, that is so close. The sound quality off of this Type number 3 tape is just, it's so damn close. It's really, I'm listening to it here, and if I was blindfolded, I wouldn't be able to tell you which was the metal tape and which was the Type 3. Seriously. I mean, it's just, these tapes, I kid you not, and that's why these things, like ferrochrome tapes that you can still buy, they go for ludicrous amounts of money because they just did a really good job. And I mean, that's about as close a comparison that I've heard on this 2-head deck. Now, yesterday when I was testing it with the TIAC, although as I explained in some of the comments, a true ferrochrome, a ferrochrome tape is supposed to be played back with an equalization of 100 or 70 microseconds. You can see on the back here, Type 3 position. And Type 3 position uses 70 microseconds equalization. Decks that have got auto bias detection with the little holes, like this has no holes in it because, of course, it's recorded as a normal bias tape. My TIAC with the manual calibration on it, when I set up the bias and the level, it is trying to equalize for the best frequency response based on 120 microseconds equalization, which causes the record levels to not come back quite as high on these tapes on that deck. But as you can see on this deck here, levels are perfect. On my other Techniques deck, levels are perfect. I've got another Techniques 3-head deck that actually has a Type 3 position. Maybe I'll dig that out and we'll try some recordings. It won't do metal though. It only does Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3. But we can do the same test on that, and maybe I'll haul that one out and we'll set that one up and just try the 3 tapes again. But you know, in my books, this thing here, these tapes just sound fantastic, and it sound every bit as good as the Type 4. The Type 2 tape sounded good as well, and of course I think we all agree that the Type 1 tape sounded like rubbish, but it's Type 1, right? But anyway, that's a quick little demo of this thing here, the different types of tapes on a Pioneer CT07D. And I say this deck here, I was not using any noise reduction at all. It's really quiet, and that's something that this one had going for it, the digital circuitry. On playback, it digitizes everything so that it can apply digital noise reduction to knock out the hiss without needing to compand, without needing to emphasize the treble on record and de-emphasize it on playback, which is what Dolby does. It boosts the treble on record by 10 dB, and Dolby C does it by 20 dB, and then it drops it down on playback, and the effect of that is to drop the noise floor. But this particular deck, you don't need to use that. It's got HX noise or HX Pro headroom extension. What that does is that adjusts the bias dynamically for high levels. It'll actually bring the bias down slightly so that you don't oversaturate your tape. And it does a pretty good job. And for a 2-head deck, it's actually pretty impressive, this thing. Anyway, Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one where I think I'll dig out my other techniques and we'll look at my other 3-head deck with the Type 3 position, and we'll take a listen to how it sounds. Thanks for watching.